So welcome everyone, and thank you, Comptroller and Mayor, for featuring local women-led tech businesses like ours. So I remember our early days at Maven here in New York. We worked a few blocks away out of a dusty Lower East Side office, and we actually recruited some of our first customers in Washington Square Park manually, one by one. And, we worked relentlessly, we worked with a lot of humility, but we really had that New York attitude of, if we keep pushing, something amazing could happen. So the Comptroller's jobs report that we're all here to talk about points out that diversity is really critical to New York Tech's employment success, and particularly in the tech space. This is definitely true for Maven. But with each new jobs report, I'm also reminded of how integral women are in today's workforce. So nationally, our participation rate in the labor force has climbed from a mere 33% in 1948 to nearly 57% in 2016. And as today's report shows, women now represent a quarter of New York's tech force. I'm proud to contribute to that number, particularly given that 2/3 of Maven's employees are women. I'm also proud to lead a women's health platform where our board is actually all female. But despite the gains made in the workforce, access to health care for women remains stuck in the 1950s. Despite the fact that women control 80% of healthcare decisions, women are often not treated as the primary healthcare consumer by the healthcare industry. Women face wide gaps in care, whether it's access to birth control, fertility, prenatal or postpartum services. The female voice is often lost in the healthcare debate right now as we talk about reforming the system. And while we may be lucky enough to live in a city that supports parental leave policies, many are not as fortunate. This is what Maven intends to change. My team and I started Maven 3 years ago as a scrappy group of healthcare outsiders with a big mission of radically improving support for the female patient and her family. We connect women with the best quality doctors, nurse practitioners, therapists, or other women's health providers to deliver instant care and prescriptions over video or text message. We also offer a cutting-edge maternity platform to companies where we power support services for prenatal, postpartum, and return-to-work services. We've helped over 100,000 patients get care, and we've raised more than $15 million, all here from our headquarters in New York City. And beyond our Bagel Fridays, our New York, so we actually have bagels in the other room. Our New York location has given us an amazing network of female entrepreneurs and investors. But I think there's a broader point here too. The benefits of diversity and the benefits of being in New York isn't just about raising money. Just working here, you can hardly help but have friends and contacts from all industries, all backgrounds, all areas of life. And it really gives you perspective and powers you to keep going, to have fun, and to keep everything connected really firmly with a diverse group of women using our product. So thank you. Thank you to the Mayor's Office for championing women in tech, in the tech sector, and to the people of New York for making our city a great place to start a company, no matter what you look like or what your background is. So it's my pleasure to introduce our mayor.
Thank you so much. And I love the phrase, a group of scrappy outsiders, and you did a great job as a group of scrappy outsiders creating something so important for women everywhere, and also important for this city, for the growth of the tech community in this city. So there's so many things that are evoked by being here. Now, these remarks I have say Catherine, but I heard you say Kate earlier. What do you prefer?
You can call me Kate.
I'm going to call you Kate.
Now.
All right, Kate. Kate, I really want to express my admiration for what you've achieved here. And it was great meeting your whole team back here. And I could hear in their voices how committed they are to their work and to making sure that women get the health care they need. These professionals behind us epitomize a growing part of the New York City workforce. And I love the fact that some of them are people from here who got opportunity here, and others are folks who came from another leading tech center and recognized that New York was the place to be. And we're hearing this a lot. I go around to different companies, and I hear a lot people talking about the fact that once upon a time they didn't think New York was a place where there was enough opportunity if you're an engineer or if you were someone in the tech field. And now more and more that critical mass has been achieved, which the Comptroller's report really speaks to. So there's a lot to celebrate here today. I want to tell you, Kate, what you've done with Maven. It's particularly powerful at this moment in our history. And you put this together years ago. I'm sure you didn't have a crystal ball that would tell you what would happen, for example, in national elections. But at a moment where, unfortunately, the rights of women have been under attack and the access to health care has been under attack, you're doing something that very powerfully and tangibly speaks to an alternative vision of women being supported and empowered and healthcare being accessible to all. You're doing it right here. You know, sometimes we get lost in the policy debates and the culture wars, but right here at Maven, change is happening. And it's another reminder, everyone, that even though we should be deeply concerned about the national level, so much of what really changes the world happens on the ground in cities and towns all over this country. And here's an example right here. So, Kate, congratulations for what you've achieved, and thank you for all the women that you're reaching, and thank you for showing what the emerging women's leadership in the tech community looks like. I appreciate that very much. Tom DiNapoli is going to come up right after me and talk about the research his team has done. I want to thank him. We work together, our teams work together constantly. Tom is a powerful voice in this state and particularly looks out for the long-term needs of the people of the state and looks out for the long-term needs of New York City and is thinking often of all the folks in public life and all the folks who are elected to office. He's the one who's looking farthest ahead and thinking about what we need to be strong. So I really appreciate the work your team has done and the fact that it shows real, tangible progress. I mentioned earlier the talent that we are developing in this city, in our public schools, in our CUNY colleges, with all of the training efforts that we are doing directed to developing folks for tech jobs, obviously really essential things like computer science for all in our schools. More and more, we're putting the infrastructure in place to develop a whole new generation of talent that will be in the tech sector. And again, that is fueling the greater clarification of New York City as a global tech center. And we have, and I love the phrase disrupt, I love the way the tech community uses this phrase, we've disrupted the assumptions about New York City. We've disrupted the assumptions about where you had to go if you wanted to succeed in this community. God bless the Silicon Valley. They'll always do great work, but more and more people understand that New York City offers tremendous opportunity and is growing all the time. And look, the ecosystem now and the technology community is almost 350,000 jobs in this city. And as Comptroller DiNapoli's report points out, the jobs specifically in tech companies now reaching 128,600. That's a record. And I think it's time for Tom and I to point toward the chart for a moment. And I think it's a lovely chart. But look, look at how this steady growth has gone. And look at that number. I will predict right now, you're going to see that chart just continue that ascent because we've got that critical mass right now. Having a Comptroller and his team drill down and understanding this trajectory really clarifies to us the path forward. We put forward an overall economic vision that calls for city investment to spur the creation of 100,000 new good-paying jobs in the course of the next 10 years. A lot of those, about 30,000, are projected to be in tech, and many thousands projected to be in the sister industry of life sciences and biotech. This is very, very good news for New York City, and not just because we see a whole sector growing all the time, but because of the qualitative dynamics. In the tech community, salaries grew 3 times faster than in the rest of the private sector in New York City. Over the course of this current decade we're in, 3 times faster than salaries in the rest of the private sector. If you want jobs that families can actually live on and that allow people to afford the price of housing in this city, this is the kind of work we'd love to see more and more people doing. And look, it is part of becoming a fairer city when people have opportunity. Another crucial element of this tech community, compared to others you might look at around the country, is its striking diversity. Now, we know there's a raging debate. I'm sure you've been in the middle of it, Kate. There's a raging debate about some of the challenges and missteps in the tech community. Well, that's being addressed right here in New York City, again, by action, not by words. Companies like Kate's and the leadership you put together on the board and the team you've hired. This is how we make change, people taking it into their own hands in the most diverse city in the world. And we're certainly the capital of diversity in the tech community in this country. So very, very proud to say that when we look around this city, 21% of tech startups in New York City are women-founded, 21%. And as Comptroller DiNapoli will point out from his report, 1 in 4 tech workers are women. 1 in 4 tech workers are women, and that number will keep growing steadily. And that number is higher than what we see in other tech centers around the country. We speak every language. We come from every nation. For companies that are reaching nationally and even globally, to have people of all cultures who speak all languages here is an unparalleled advantage. So we are convinced that the growth is extraordinary and is going to continue, and that having the ability to say to companies all over the country, all over the world, if you seek a diverse workforce, come to New York City. This is the place you'll find it. If you want to reach diverse audiences and diverse customer base, come to New York City, because the people here can teach you how to reach every kind of community. If you want fairness in the kind of workforce you create and the kind of atmosphere that exists in your workplace, come to New York City, a place that believes in equality and works hard to ensure the rights of everyone. This report, and I want to thank the Comptroller as I turn to him, this report speaks volumes about how much we have grown, but it also, to me, validates the notion that what we do here in this city is just organically what the tech sector more and more is looking for, and that people are going to flock here and help us build here because of what has been achieved here in this city. My great pleasure to turn to our partner in government, Comptroller Tom DiNapoli.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor, very much. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. It is, thank you. It is...
I'm your roadie
you've done that before, yeah, I think so.
I'm here to help.
Always. It's great to be here at Maven, and Kate Ryder, thank you so much for hosting us and really being such a prime example of what the Mayor spoke about. A startup company, a diverse workforce, a high percentage of women, all-female board, really on the cutting edge in a key healthcare area. And the Mayor and I were so impressed when you spoke about how your team reached out to those that were suffering with the after effects in Texas of Harvey and linking people up for free, giving credit from your own company resources. It was quite something. Yep. It shows not only the intellect of New York, but the heart of New York, I would say, Mayor de Blasio, wouldn't you?
That's a very fine phrase, Comptroller.
And they're ready for Florida, unfortunately. Yeah. So our compliments to you. And Mayor de Blasio, it's always a privilege to be with you. We go back a few years. You're a great colleague in government. You're a wonderful friend as well. And the progress that we're noting, and I think we're already scoping out that higher bar on the end there for you next year. Much of the credit for the success goes to the ways in which you've nurtured the tech sector during your tenure as mayor. So, as has been indicated, we are releasing our report on the technology sector in New York City. Obviously, everybody is concerned about employment and jobs and where we're headed, so we always focus on different economies, different sectors of the economy, different regions of the state. This report was produced by our Office for New York City. Ken Bleiweiss is here. He's the Deputy Controller in charge. Mike Brissom and Bree Sandow as well from his team were part of putting this report together. I'll give you some of the highlights, and again, really appreciate Kate hosting us, because this is an example of the kind of innovative company that really adds definition to the numbers that we have in our report. Kate and her team have created a company, as you know, that specializes in providing women, especially working mothers and college students, with immediate professional health care. Maven's network of doctors and healthcare professionals makes it easy for women to connect with providers directly via video appointment or private message to receive information and advice in all areas of women's and children's health. This digital care company is just one example of how our city and our state have become one of the nation's most important tech hubs for established and pioneering businesses. Last year, employment in the tech sector in New York City surpassed 280,000 jobs, which ranked New York third in the nation after California and Texas. Since 2010, this sector in New York State as a whole has added more than 57,000 jobs. And here's an interesting point, Mayor. More than 80% of those jobs were located in New York City. So the city has really been the area of growth in our state. In 2016, there were a record 128,600 jobs in the tech sector in New York City, an increase of 57% in only 6 years. This is very important as we talk about the diversification of the New York City economy. As jobs, and we're all familiar with the struggles in the financial services sector, have still been, in many ways, attempting to recover from the Great Recession, the market meltdown of 08 and 09, tech has become a large source of high-paying jobs while also creating new opportunities for workers with non-tech skills, right? You got marketing people, you have in large organizations, they have attorneys are often getting the work, human resource managers. There are non-tech jobs that are being generated by this growth in the tech sector as well.
Always be attorneys.
Always be attorneys. So they say,
Yeah.
not being one yourself.
We're
Yeah.
innocent.
Many of these jobs are a direct result of the public and private sectors working hand in hand to invest resources into the tech industry. I know the mayor is very excited about the Cornell Technion campus, open next week, is it?
Yep.
The ribbon cutting officially on Roosevelt Island is a very exciting example. The graduate school will bring students, faculty, business leaders to conduct groundbreaking research and collaborate with tech industry companies and organizations. I had a chance, I know you've been to Israel, I don't know if you got to visit the Technion campus in Haifa, but it's
not.
unbelievable.
Sounds
It's
amazing.
really, really great. Partnerships with higher education institutions such as NYU and Columbia are cultivating new businesses and talent in life sciences and biotech industries, as well as engineering and computer science programs. Well, Mayor de Blasio has provided great leadership in this area. With his work and with his team, the mayor's office has launched several additional technology initiatives since taking office. He's kept the ones that were in place and developed some new ones. For example, in 2014, he started the New York City Technology Talent Pipeline, a $10 million public-private initiative designed to train city residents with the skills to compete in 21st century jobs. In 2015, Mayor de Blasio announced a strategic technology plan to increase access to science, technology, engineering, and math, so-called STEM programs, and computer science education for all public school students. He launched New York Works, a 10-year jobs plan that will spur 30,000 new jobs in tech and includes key supports like doubling the number of CUNY computer science graduates. And earlier this year, the city released design plans for the Union Square Tech Hub, a $250 million project that would provide worker training and modern workspaces for early-stage startups. This type of investment in startup businesses is helping cultivate further growth in the tech sector right here in New York City. Now, we know, and Kate knows it better than anybody, raising capital is a challenge for entrepreneurs, right? And for companies in the early stages of development. So we commend you on your success. Thankfully, here in New York City, high-tech innovators have access to a diverse set of investors. Certainly, proximity to Wall Street helps, but the venture capital community, the private venture capital community, is just one part of the resources that are here. I'm very pleased to say that through the Comptroller's office, through our pension fund management, we have developed a program, our in-state private equity investment program, that's invested in 226 companies in New York City between 2007 and 2016. Mayor, of that 226 companies we've invested in, 210 were tech-related. These investments total $204.7 million, help these companies expand with the use of that money. By 2016, employment at these companies has more than doubled to close to 7,000 jobs since the initial investment. It's an example in ways that people may not be aware that our pension fund is not only doing good by our public workers and retirees by providing their retirement security, but we're doing more to recycle our capital into New York State, into New York City as well, so that we could be part of the growth story, make money for our fund, which is our first priority, but do it in a way that helps to grow the economy here in our city and our state. So we have great confidence in this successful program. We're going to continue to look for more opportunities to invest that capital. So we know our economy has been going strong, particularly here in the city. It doesn't mean that there aren't challenges. There are some that have been left behind, and there is more work for us to do. It certainly, I think, is critical, and obviously the mayor is encouraging this, for New York City to continue to put a priority on developing an educated workforce so that the tech sector can grow and can draw on the talent right here in New York City. This will become even more important as this industry becomes an even greater part of New York City's economy. So there are a lot of other numbers in here I won't get into. I appreciate the mayor noting our fine chart that we spent all night putting together just for you.
It's a beautiful
I appreciate Kate's hosting us.
You did great with it.
The mayor, I'm told it's a busy time of year for you. I don't know why, but I know you've got to go another event, so we're going to say thank you for all your great
continue.
work, and I will be here to take any questions on our report. Thank you, Mayor. Give the mayor a round of applause.